Well, we are back here at HQ and getting a few days of relaxation in. I didn't realize it was a holiday weekend, so um, luckily I didn't plan anything for Monday. Um, so this past week was a uh, sort of stressful week, as you will have working these load boards. Um, what happened? It started off, I thought, rather well. I booked a load on Friday to pick up on Monday, and it was supposed to be a round tripper, and there were supposed to be multiple runs, and they paid about $450 a piece. And it started out as a round trip right from my near my house, going 100 mile, close to 100 miles, and then bobtailing back and getting another trailer. And supposedly I could do it over and over, and it would last for several weeks. So didn't turn out that way. When she sent me the Raycon, she I thought she had the addresses wrong on it, and I called her, and of course she had made a mistake telling me, and the advertisement she ran on the load board was wrong too. So it turned out I had to deadhead um, about 150, 60 miles to get over to this load, and it was coming back to my house and then bobtailing back that way. So not at all what she described. And then when I got there, this happened. Well, this is what we got, folks. Not at all what the agent described. You got to be prepared. Um, she told me this is a flatbed load and they would already have it secured. And guess what? They did not. I had to use my own equipment, which it's not that big of a deal. But then the delivery point changed, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And so doing the power only thing, I had somebody ask me, if you could just do van only. And you can do it all day long, every day of the week, as much as you want. But to maximize your dollar, and there are different loads in different areas. Just to maximize your chances of getting a good load and getting a good paycheck and not waiting around, you need to be prepared for a lot of different things. I've never really talked about what you need on your truck to do power only. Some of you guys who only exclusively want to do van really don't have to worry about it. But I will do an upcoming video on all the things you need just to be 100% prepared for what you might get out there. But getting back on the subject of what happened this week. So that first load was not at all what I'd planned. And luckily, or not, when I got about 50 miles down the road with that first load, I got a call from the agent saying, yeah, there's no more loads, they're not ready. So luckily I was going to a good place where I was delivering that flatbed load. And so I wasn't really worried about it. There were a fair amount of loads on the board that were paying good. So I booked another load on the way, talked to the agent, and some of these agents are like used car salesmen. They're going to tell you whatever you want to hear, just to get you out there and get on that load, because they know when you get there, you're sort of trapped. You've wasted time getting over there, and they know you'll wait around and do whatever it takes to get that load moved, and that's all they want. So this next load, I called the guy, and it was going to be about trying to remember now, about an hour and a half drive from where I was at to get this next load, and I still had to deliver the load I was on. So I told the guy I'll be over there in 2 hours. He said, perfect, the trailer will be loaded and be ready, you just hook and go. And of course I got there, no trailer. nothing. So I called the guy, and he said, "Oh, my driver's bringing it over from the next town over, which was only 20 miles, and he'll be there any minute." I waited another hour. Called the guy. Waited another hour, and I kept getting this same response from the guy. "Oh man, he's right. I just talked to him. He's right around the corner. He's a great guy. You're gonna meet him. My best driver." All the normal used car salesman kind of crap. So the guy finally gets there, and mind you, I'm supposed to pick up a loaded trailer. So this guy had the responsibility of bringing the trailer in, going to the office, finding out which dock to back up to, and get the thing loaded. So the guy pulls up and he starts unhooking, and I told him, no, you're supposed to figure out which dock you're supposed to be in, and you're supposed to get this thing loaded. That's your job. And so I was standing there talking to another driver, and about 5 minutes later, the other driver pointed behind me, and I turned around and looked, and all the driver had done was driven over to an empty part of the parking lot, and as fast as he could got out and unhooked from the trailer. And by the time I walked over there, he was getting in his truck, and he was gone. So I called the agent back. I said, "Hey, your best driver just abandoned this trailer over here. I'm gonna have to do a live load now." Wasn't part of the deal, which wasn't a big deal. It really wasn't. But that's just one more thing these agents will do to take advantage of you. So you got to put them on the spot. So he added a little bit more money in there, and also got about close to 3 hours detention pay. That's another thing. I always let these people know before that 2 hour mark that I'm going to be charging detention. And if they're not going to pay it, then I'm not going to stay. So I always send that in an email too, leave a paper trail. So we got the thing loaded, and got it delivered. And really, honestly, there wasn't any real wasted time, because either way, I wouldn't have been able to pick up a load till the next morning early. So, I did have to sit there for a while, but it wasn't like I was waiting to pick up another load that day. I couldn't have done it. So it worked out. I got extra pay on top of the good pay I was already getting. And so the next morning, on the way there, I'd booked another load, and it was in a lane I like to run, and it was picking up a brand new belly dump trailer. So what should have been so simple and easy was complicated by some butthole who dropped this trailer. well, I would say the person who dropped it, whoever parked it back here, they used a yard dog, and they put the pins. You can't doesn't have regular jacks on here. It has pins in the stands, so they put them on the highest setting, and can't get it down close enough to get on my fifth wheel. All right, let's see what we got now. All right.
Street dog about back of bones, back street.
And as you saw, the person who brought the belly dump in there, they had those little legs on there with you put the pin through there, and they jacked it up as high as they possibly could. They must have done it with, you know, a yard dog. And so when I backed up under it, it was 6 inches too high, so I had to get a guy out there with a forklift. No big deals. And so they gave me a temporary tag. I put it on there and I was gone. That one worked out really good. But on the way, called on several loads, and these agents, they just don't check on things. They get the job, they put it on the load board, and they think everything is good. They think, you know, it just everything's the same. And so when I call, I try, you know, to make 100% for sure that it's going on. And I even go get to the point where I'm saying I drive a semi, a big truck with a fifth wheel, not any kind of pintle hook or anything. But it never works. You know, well, sometimes they just want, you know, the load moved and they don't care to get all the particulars. But 2 of the loads I booked, one right after the other, really good paying loads. I booked it. 30-40 minutes later, I get a call. Oh, do you have a pintle hook on your truck? No, I don't. I told you that to begin with. So cancel that one. Booked another one. Got the same call. Do you have a pintle hook? No, I don't. So that happened a couple times that day. And then throughout the rest of the day, I was going to an area that didn't have a lot of good loads coming out of it. So I shouldn't have been negotiating as much as I was. I should have just grabbed something, rolled to a better area. But I was not in any real big hurry. So that day I called on several loads. Nobody was willing to come up as much as I wanted them to, except I got up the next morning and I waited till the load board started getting loads on it, and I was looking around and I got a call on a load that I'd previously made an offer on, and they came up to where I wanted them to. So I took that one. And that one was supposed to be a van load. Well, on my way to get my load out here in Lubbock, I got pulled in for an inspection. They were inspecting everybody, or most everybody, and I was one of the lucky ones. And I thought everything was going good, but making me kind of nervous. They said, okay, pull over to the side over there after they inspected everything. And they said, oh, I need to finish this form. So wait and see what they got. We're picking up today, and as I was saying on these low boys, if you don't have that wet kit, you're gonna need this little pony motor in here. The reason why, I had to start it up to lower it to get it on here, but after you hooked up to it, you see it's still on the ground. Take a minute or so to get that thing to start raising up off the ground. And there you go. this thing, so it's not difficult to figure it out. But what you also want to do is come around here, and I always want to get it on the highest setting, as far off the ground as possible. Keep raising it up. So I've got it set at the highest setting. That gives me more clearance right there. And now I'm just checking lights, airing it up. For LED lights, they're not very bright. Everything looks good. It's a brand new trailer, so it's a good looking trailer. So as it happens on some of these trailers, this is a brand new trailer, but I still had to come in here, and this little quick connections, which are trash, which wasn't pushed in there far enough, wasn't seated, and so now it's actually building pressure. So yeah, that you got to be prepared. Those low boys, you can't be scared of them. They're easy, and even if you don't know how to do them, somebody's going to come out there and show you. So got that one delivered, and on the way there I booked a load going back to the house, which was a stack of 3 flatbeds that they're really simple. This one turned out to be a little more involved than normal. Normally these flatbeds have winches on them, and you just need, you know, depending on how many are stacked on it, if there's just one flatbed stacked on top of another flatbed, you need 5 or 6 straps. If it's, you know, a stack of 3 flatbeds, you need a few more straps than that. And if they have winches on the trailer, it's real simple. But if they don't, you need your straps and your ratchets. This particular load, they didn't want chains on it, and I prefer to put at least a couple of chains on these things, but they didn't want any scratches on them because they were brand new trailers. But turns out, you know, I'll show you the video of what they had to do when I got it there. So it was a kind of a stressful week. A little more happened than that, but just too much to go into here. And so you'll have those weeks, and then when I do have those weeks, the next week when I'm kind of burnt out, I'll just book one long trip that, you know, takes 3 or 4 days, and that way I don't have to deal with the load board as much, and just jump right back in the saddle. All right, I want to show you guys something I thought you flatbed drivers will understand this. When you're going to pick up a load, lots of times on flatbed they'll tell you, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, or it has to be tarped and can't possibly get wet. And then when you deliver it on the other end, it's raining, and they just throw it down in the mud, so you tarp for absolutely nothing. But they told me when I picked up these 2 stack of trailers here, see if you can see it, they said, oh, you can absolutely not put any chains on this. No chains. Customer doesn't want chains. So there's no winches on this trailer. So I had to use my own straps and ratchets. Got it all tied down. Got it here. Not a big deal. But when I got to the other end, they said, oh, you can't take those straps and ratchets off until we put chains on it. So they came out, put their own chains on it. And I told the guy, I said, you know what? They told me I couldn't put chains on it. I said, but if I had, you and I could have just swapped chains and binders, and I could have been out of here in 5 minutes. And guy thought it was the greatest idea ever, but you know how it is. It's a management thing probably. But there you go. Never know what you're gonna get.